And it's Gordo here from Gordo's Games, and I'm bringing you some Digimon TCG content today. And today it's going to be a little bit different. So these are some of my games from the most recent Nats for Europe, and obviously how they played out for me. So if you do like the content, if you do like the style of thing, just let me know. Here's something new I'm trying. But at this point here, it's going to be me on the bottom screen playing Digimon versus Gabibon, and this is my journey of friendship, as it's been rightly named. So I'm going to go in first here, so I'll go ahead and hatch into a demi mirror. Evolve into the promo Agumon, given the 2k buff to a Greymon, and then to the promo Greymon. So there's a great start to go ahead with. And we go ahead and hatching into the Upa. My face there is just literally saying that. It's like I knew I was going to see this. This is the start of the journey before I saw so many of the rest of them. And he goes into a Strabby, which is obviously not a great start for a Bond player, but you know, he's got the Davis, the search down for a few other things. And he goes ahead and adds the Akakamon off of it. Bottom deck in a Davis and a Hammerspark. Hammerspark going on top. So I'm in a good spot here. I have got the promo Greymon. Decide to go ahead and raise out. I haven't got to tie or anything down for that part, but I think I do have the Lightning Joust I'm going for here. Oh, no, I don't have the Lightning Joust, so I'm just going for the 2 checks at 8k. It's the Octo gets over that. And a Kendo. Okay, so we like that. So we do manage to survive. If we can't choke memory here because of the Davis. So we go ahead and throw down the markers to give ourselves that guaranteed 3 memory. Now, he has got the Akaku in hand, so he raises out. It does go into the Akaku here, I believe, just to go over the top of my Greymon, to stop that pressure. That goes into the Octo, either or, doing the same kind of job. So there goes Greymon. He did his job. Him surviving was just a bonus, really. Okay, so it's going down for the Tamer Fetcher here. It's pass turn back over to me. I believe he does hit the mat. Yeah, it's final check. He does bottom deck 2 bonds. So there you go, attack on top at the bottom of the pile. So I'll go a draw, hatch into a demi mirror. We'll go down to the start deck Agu, 2k buff when you swing it at the player. And then we'll go throw down a Geo just to get rid of the Gabu. At this point here, I didn't have any ties or any way to go into any kind of immediate aggression. So I just thought I'd try and compromise by getting rid of some of the board as well. So he's only got an Octo swinging. And I don't want to leave Gabus just freely on the board. Goes into the Gabumon, which pairs nicely with the Bond of Friendship. He has got the mat, so yeah, we're going to see the mat go down here. With the Octo. And first check it's a Lightning Joust which goes to hand, which is quite nice. Fortunately, it won't be live for us overall, so it goes Howling to shut down the Geo. Because we're at 4 security, so we don't get the security tap +1. And Geo can now not do anything anyway. So we go ahead and raise out here. I think this was one of my more questionable plays, if I remember rightly. I think I go for the Greymon, and then Lightning Joust into Octo. Yeah, at the moment, as you can see, I've been struggling for the tie, but I think I've got a couple of bonds in hand at this point. Okay, so going for the Geo there. yeah, I've not seen my tamer tie whatsoever. Really tempted to swing, so we do go ahead and commit to it. We're going to swing at security. We check Garbymon, so we're good there. Don't really think I've got a follow-up play here. Not anything that's going to be. There we go. We have got the tie. Okay, so we have seen one after that. But at this point here, Davis, Matt, Howling, Memory Boost. If Octos can survive and Bond of Friendship does all its checks, it's pretty much game here to hybrids. At this stage, it's really how forgiving my security is going to be to them. But the big dilemma I find with Agubon's security is it doesn't really hurt blue that much, because realistically you need it to get rid of tamers, which it doesn't. Okay, so he plays it safe and goes to my Geo Grey just to clean up board a bit. Goes into the Akaku. As one of my teammates says, the most reliable Digimon in all of the Digimon card game. And he takes out the Geo Grey. So a nice little bit of a recovery there just to put things back in place. It has got 2 security left, so I couldn't. It's not even like I could double a Goonie for game if it puts me on too much. Goes for the Gobmon. And pass it over to me, put me at 3. So I'll go ahead and hatch. Going to the Argon, start that one. Realistically, the only way I can try and stop what's happening is an Atomic Blaster. But at the moment the board overall looks a lot more promising than what I currently have. The Akaku, obviously the Akaku Tekken Garbymon does come up quite often. I don't want, it's not a 4 of any circumstance, but 1 or 2 just to you know, just to rid some of the pressure. Like again, I've got a Geogray out there, the Akaku will then just swing over it. But I've just, my hand is not favourable. So hatch into the Demi V. Gobmon eat from EX. Kaku to go then swing over the Geo Grey, I think it's looking to be. Then up to just to get a bit more pressure. Then puts me at the kill strike of actually no, it's not the kill strike, because the fact it's the wrong Gobby there. Unless he goes and throws one out. But my security again has not been anything favourable. Okay, so goes and throws out another Gabu. And then Ice will pass it over to me. So there's no possible way here to go for game, because of the fact that I raise out if I go into a bond, I'm going to be 1 short for a Goonie for a game. Raise out, gain the memory, draw a card. tough choices here, but I think this is the last hurrah there. No overall out I could see, there's too many things on board. 2 tamers on the back line, a Howling Boost, so there's just so many different options for blue just to take game. So we're just going to Atomic Blaster. Realistically, I could have stayed in Raisin there instead of coming out. So that was probably a misplay on my part there, but to be honest, it was looking bleak. As I mean, he's bottom deck 2 Bonds of Friendship, but you're always going to assume they have at least one. Okay, so it doesn't look like he has it because he doesn't decide to raise out. He just goes with the Octo to swing, hits the program at 5. And the Howling comes down to shut me down. And at this point here, if I'd stayed in Raisin, I think it would have been a different, potentially a different outcome. But yeah, it's one of those that you have to naturally assume they're going to have it. So I'll go starter there. And the Howling Memory Booster just puts in so much work overall, so I'm going to go into the Aguni for 2. I think at this point we need to stop some of the hemorrhaging. I think it's that point. Lightning Jams for 1. We all know it's pretty much game here. Gaia Force doesn't stop the Tamer, so we're going to go into security here for 2 checks. Hit the Goblimon. And we hit a Goblimon again. And then we Atomic Blaster to get rid of the Goblimon, because you can't kill the Goblimon on the Octomon, sadly. And raise out immediately, which then implies the Bond. But either way, even if he swung with those 2 there, if it isn't the right order, it's basically just game. So redeems the Mem Boost to go into that. 3, yep, get out to 5. Swing security, bottom deck the Agumon, yep. And we hit a... Always revealed lots of Ice Walls and a Davis. If I'd seen that a bit sooner, I would have felt a bit better about things, but... I need to hit the program. All my program mods were near enough there, except for the one I had. That goes to the bottom. And it's a Gaia Force, which sadly is all but too late. Lobo for game. There we have it as round 1. As you can see, I didn't see all the pieces as much as I'd like to. Some of Howling Memory was put in so much work. Generally, the Gaia Bond player himself didn't see as much of the things he'd like to, but he saw enough to be able to stall out until he had his win con. So I guess all in all, a close enough match, you know. Both went down to 0 security. But let's just see how, well, let us go through how game 2 went. But yeah, the Lightning Joust, I will say, from testing with the promo Greymon, puts a lot of work in, adds a lot of pressure into the Agu Bond. So in matchups like this, you can get a good amount of value and add the pressure on. There's like things like Ice Wall, which obviously we know is getting limited anyway, causes a lot of inconvenience for multiple bodies, because I was considering taking D Brigade at this point rather than Agabond. It was a last minute decision when I spoke to my team. And to be fair, Agabond did a lot better for the pure reason it can do more checks at once. I think D Brigade would have struggled the entire day because it's all just one check, one check, one check, so I'd have been pass and turn every time. Whereas that promo Greymon and Goonies and things like that, just giving them that buff really helped. Okay, so I'm going to hatch going first into the Agumon, the Bond of Bravery one, and then going into the Geo Greymon. So not the ideal stack to start with, but you know what, we'll take it. And open up the Demi V one. Almost feels like there's not a Godmon in hand first of all, and there's a Grizzly. So it was a bit of an interesting one here, and the sad thing is I've only got a 6k Geo. Now if I'd had the 2k promo Agumon, this wouldn't have been as bad. But we'll go Marcus to put him on 1. Hindsight, maybe swinging here and getting the trade at 6 for 6 wouldn't have been the worst thing. Howling shuts me down, so now I can't even get over the Grizzly. So we'll go ahead and hatch into the Demi Mirror. We'll go into the Slaughter Argue, which I could have done with a Morager. Really sad times there. That Starter Argue would have came in very nice. Throw down the tie, and then we'll throw down the Bond of Bravery Argu. It's the Gobamon. Have they got the mat as well to answer? Hammer Spark go to 4. Going for the Davis. Okay, so they've got the Bond. Now it's just the mat, but we'll see if they've got the mat. Have they seen all the pieces? Goes into the Octomon and passes turn over to me. Go ahead, raise out, gain a memory, draw a card. So once again, the Goblin players not saw the mat in the earliest of fashion, had a bricky start, but still their ability to recover is, yeah, unmeasurable. Sorry, for a moment there we had somebody jump in the room, so let me just sort that out. There we go. Just jumped into the room for a moment. Okay, so we're going to go into the Bond here. We are biting a little bit early, I know. Oh, it would have been a Geo from Security and an Argo. The Geo from Security would have been quite nice. Then I'm trying to work out if I can actually take game off the back of this. So Argu would trash one. So Bond of Braver would trash the Grizzly, they trash the top of the security, then do 2 checks, taking them down to having 2 security. Geo swing, gain a memory of Marcus, Argu swing, and then a Goonie for game. That's in an ideal world. Playing against blue, Hammer Sparks, Ice Walls, so many things, but we do go for the Lightning Jousting, so we're just trying to take the pressure on earlier, I guess. Or I don't have the Aguni. I'm trying to remember now. So we go head swing. Yep, we'll pop that to trash one. We trash another Grizzly. And then it's 3 checks. Ice Wall. Garbu and a mat. There we have it. I mean, he doesn't have the Gabumon on board at this point, but there's always ways for him to get around things like that. I mean, all I need is one of these to stick to the board, be able to swing and have an Aguni in hand, and then we're good to go. Ironically, hindsight, hit the Gaia Force, get rid of the Octo. If I'd swung with the Geograve first, hit the Ice Wall, I would have triggered Marcus, and then I would have been at 0. And it would have been a bit more of a promising position. I wouldn't be able to take game, but still. So he goes into the Kendo Gru here, which is going to bounce the Agumon back to my hand, leaving me with just the Geo Grey. He has chose to go on top of the mat, so $5k. The Promo Greymon's coming and clutching the security. That's the only thing about that card. It's such a good card, but it's really not great to have in security. And he's gone for the Magnagumon, which completely changes everything around. Because I have no Agumon on board. Go to the Agumon and raise him. Swing at security. We're gonna Rattlestar goes back to hand. Okay, that's fine. I didn't tap the Marcus there to gain a memory. I don't have the double Aguni here, I believe I just end up removing the board, but to be honest, if I had tapped the Marcus, it would have been a bit more of an efficient turn. Because instead I wouldn't put him on 4. Well, I had the good guy at 4, so it really didn't matter. But yeah, they would have been on 6, technically, if I'd done my turn correctly there. So it's a slight misplay on my part. Always interesting to see. I'm not sure how relevant or how much of a difference it was made overall. Well, I'll just revisit this one. So, Strabby. Into the Octo. If he's got the hybrids in hand and on tamers, it would just be literally a turn of. Actually no, because he needs to try and. Yeah, he's got 2 security left. Yeah, all he needs to do is put me on 3 now. I can't exactly go for game, to be honest. Unless I go into the Promo Grey, swing, survives, tap for the Marcus, Goonie on top of the tie. Yeah, but a lot of interesting choice in this first list I played against. The Grizzly Mons, the Magnadramons. Obviously, we see the Magnadramons quite a lot in the Bond list, you know, to try and keep them on board afterwards. But the Grizzlies and the blockers and that, you know, they almost feel like they go against the actual deck's way of playing. Goes for Dave's 4. I guess trying to make sure he sees those. He's going to take the Goblin one. Ice Wall. That shuts down me having any sort of fun. Goblin for 3. Considerations on best player. I know he has the bomb, but he doesn't have the mat down. Well, he's going to take the bomb, but I'm assuming he has one in hand. But he didn't take them. He hasn't got no mats down. I guess it's the case of is there a threat from that Gabu? I guess it's a choice why I'm deciding if I go to raise or not. But I just go for the Geo Grey just to clear out the Gabu here. And the problem was I couldn't swing for game in the first place, so Atomic Blaster will take care of that. But then Lobo or Kendo, there we have it. And that's just the problem with red security compared to blues. In this matchup, where it's not the threat of what's on board, it's the what's coming off your tamers afterwards. With red only being able to blow things up that are on board, you know, there's that dilemma of how useful it is it all, and that's why I think Lightning Joust put in so much work, because instead of me being able to just keep moving things, I'm just going to add as much pressure as I can and just kind of push into the game as quick as possible. That was round 1 of my journey of friendship. So it's Dobby Bond and Agabon going head to head. Thank you for watching. Do you enjoy this content, or if there's any comments you think or things I can improve, by all means please let me know. This is my first time giving a go at commentary on a game. All feedback is welcome, and if you do enjoy it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more content like this goes live, and so you can help me improve this content for all of you. Thank you all.